Hey guys, welcome to ANX Gamecast, level 126. I'm Unbiased Ann, and I'm here with Genesis and Mike B. How's it going, guys?
Good. I mean, not good. Technical difficulties.
I know. It's been a rough evening.
But whatever. It's still evening. I thought it was like
nighttime
1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. But whatever. We're here.
All right, well, what are y'all excited to talk about?
Mike?
I can't even remember because we were sitting here for so long
For
trying
real,
to fix
it's like,
that problem.
it's like, what are we here for? I don't even know the topic.
Gosh, I mean, I guess I'm excited to talk about the main subject, Paprika.
Okay. For me, it's going to be that conversation piece spearheaded by Goblin Slayer.
Oh.
I'll say Paprika.
All right. Well, y'all ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Round one.
Anime that we're currently watching.
Mike B.
What you got?
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
Yes.
So I'm going to do the joke I always did with her. Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball.
Oh, the regular.
Just the regular. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, what's going on Dragon Ball? All new episodes?
Yeah, man. You know, this week Goku grew a little bit taller. But no, it's like we were, we had a little event the other day, and we went back and we were looking at some of the old, COVID party. How we always do. No, we were being safe. We were being absolutely safe. Everybody had masks. But anyway, we went back and we were looking at the Dragon Ball. Just going back to look at the fights and why we loved it so much. And in all honesty, man, I love Dragon Ball. It's just more. They use more technique. They use more martial arts. They didn't have all that key control. Kind of like they can shoot Kamehamehas left and right and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have so much key control, so they had to more focus on like, okay, if I'm going to use like an energy blast, I have to make it count, because after I do that, that's it.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw the beginning of Dragon Ball Z where Piccolo, he was charging up his special beam cannon, and he was like, I don't know, I don't got many of these in me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not down with these old triple digit power levels. I'm good.
Hey man, but it was good. The martial arts.
If it ain't over 9,000, I don't want it.
I was about to say that.
I mean, you still can.
I know, but whatever.
All I know is that Dragon Ball, I think it had like the right amount of like, oh, this is like, a little wacky and fun, but at the same time, I think a bunch of fights in there, especially during the tournaments, like went real hard. I think they were one of the greatest.
Nothing go harder than PyCon. Anyway. So you want to check out Dragon Ball?
I don't know. Not really.
No?
I'm not trying to go backwards.
Yeah, and it was the same for me. I mean, I watched a little bit of Dragon Ball. I can't even say that I've seen them all. But I mean, it came out here after Dragon Ball Z did. So yeah, I was not trying to go back, especially as they replay when a new saga came out in Dragon Ball Z. They replayed everything back from Raditz and then got all the way caught up and then played you the new saga. Well, every new saga that came out, the graphics got a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm steadily waiting for the new better graphics in Dragon Ball Z, and then it's like, oh, Dragon Ball is coming out. It's like, I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah, I think it would be harder for some people to like, oh man, we're starting from this high point, and then we gotta go back to the low point all the way from the beginning, and then work our way back up again. I can understand that.
How we felt about Call of Duty.
And it is right. Call of Duty. Can see it.
When they went back to World War II, now they're trying to go back to the Cold War. Yeah, we ain't trying to go back. But anyway, what you got? What you watching?
Dragon Ball 2.
Oh, Dragon Ball Part 2?
Dragon Ball Z. So what's going on?
Okay, so I'm trying to remember. I know Piccolo tried to throw like a...
Piccolo?
Krillin. I don't know why I do that. Huh? Krillin. Good Lord. Krillin threw a spirit bomb at Vegeta.
Really?
And I was so ready. I thought he was really going to get him. And stupid Vegeta jumped.
Never gonna get him. Never.
I was just like, oh my gosh, they can't get this guy. So then the next thing I remember, Gohan is like fighting him or laid out or something. And Goku's talking to him like whatever you call that.
Telepathy?
Yeah. And he's like, stare at the sun or whatever. And because he grew his tail back. And so Vegeta hops over there trying to take off the tail, but it was too late. So he grew up to be like a big old...
I think it's Ozaru. I think that's what they call it, the gorilla.
Yeah, he grew up.
Well, I mean, the whole thing was dumb. I felt like he could have just pulled off the tail.
Right.
Acting like he had to charge up some kind of beam to cut it off.
Yeah.
He could have just yanked it off, but okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, how indestructible is that tail where you're like, yeah, I got to get it just right.
And I'm trying to remember, isn't that what he ended up doing anyway? He threw like his own little spirit bomb at his tail and cut it off or something?
Yeah, it looked more like a destructo disc, but...
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So he got back small again. And then the next thing I remember, Yajirobe or something comes in and like stabs him, or and then they end up letting him go. Goku's like, just let him go. We're good. Let's be the good people.
Which what we know about Dragon Ball Z now, that don't make any sense that Yajirobe's sword was able to
cut through his like outfit.
The outfit is fine, but to do actual damage to his skin because he was kind of bleeding.
Yeah.
It's like doubtful, but okay.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile at
she sounds just like the dude on the show. Meanwhile 9 miles southwest of South City.
Yeah.
Which South City is in North City, or however their confusing cities work.
At whatever Kami House or whatever it's called. Somebody showed up. Who was it that showed up?
Who was it? Because I don't know.
Korin? Oh yeah. Who somebody appears to be somebody important.
Kitty cat?
A cat.
He ain't nobody important.
Oh, okay.
He was in Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay.
If he ain't growing beans.
Oh, the sensu beans?
Yeah. If he ain't growing beans, and we don't need no corn.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so they picked him up, and Bulma and them got in her little plane, and they were flying over, I think, to find. Because the ball broke.
What did you like about these episodes that you saw, and what didn't you like about them?
I mean, I guess I liked this one just because there was like more going on, but I'm kind of ready to get past this. I
don't want to spoil nothing.
Spoiler alert.
But I never was a fan of the big monkeys. And this is pretty much the last of the big monkey.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? But I wish they would have committed to it more and show it or something more. I don't know. They just, like you said, they just eliminated it completely. It's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah. I wonder if that was like I don't know. I wonder when he was making the manga and things of that nature, that wasn't very popular.
Probably wasn't.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you notice, I mean, they left the whole in Dragon Ball. They focused on the whole Sun Wukong aspect, and then when they got to Dragon Ball Z, they just start walking away from that and say, you know what, he's just an alien. You know.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it was probably a good idea with how massive and how big Dragon Ball Z got. So whatever they did, it seemed to be the right idea. I just don't know why they did it, because this was back in the 80s and whatever in Japan. So I definitely didn't know what was going on in the 80s in Japan.
My thing is, though, I'm just ready to. I don't really think that I'm gonna be able to stick with Dragon Ball Z because it's too slow. I mean, it's just way too slow. But I really want to know, what I really, really want to know is, number one, how do they get Vegeta to be like good guy? I thought I had it figured out. I thought when they they knocked him out, right? Like, and he flew way up in the sky, and we thought it was all over, and then he fell down and he woke up again, and all of a sudden he still had power. But I want to know, how does Vegeta become the Vegeta I know today? And I want to know how
you got to watch the whole series for that. Like, there's no like light switch where it's like, oh, Vegeta's like how you see him today cooking for beers and crap. You got to watch the whole series.
It's a process.
At some point he becomes like a good guy. A good guy. Like, he's not trying to kill them anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to watch the whole series.
Really? The whole Dragon Ball Z series?
Pretty much. I mean, to the most defining moment might have been in the Buu saga. But, I mean, so.
Okay. I mean, but the thing is, it is going to be a long process. And I mean, it's a kind of a good thing that you do have to watch a bunch of it, because you don't really want to see a character just like, you know what, I'll just join you guys. But it's more of a process of he's going to grow and learn. And you see how he is.
Oh, okay.
You see how ruthless he is right now. So he's going to have to go through a process to get, like you said, a long process. But I like that, though.
Okay. Well, I wanted to see. Well, that makes more sense. I mean, that kind of tells me a lot. But I also want to see how they get these people all back alive, because they said that they already used the Dragon Balls or something. I don't remember what they said in the beginning, but they made it seem like there was no way to bring them back. And so I'm like, okay, how do they get all these people back?
You got to watch next time on Dragon Ball Z.
It's so dragged out.
But I mean, the good thing you got to look forward to is the evolution of Vegeta. You got Gohan that grows up throughout the series, because he was supposed to be the main character. But then you also know that Goku doesn't necessarily grow up, but he continues to get stronger.
Yeah.
So you got a couple of things to look forward to. Because I mean that outside of some characters that I'm not gonna spoil for you, but you already seen. But outside of that, I mean, it's all Gohan, Goku, and Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. Like that's gonna be the ones that you're paying attention to.
Gotcha.
All those other side characters, Dragon Ball, that was their time to shine. This one,
they're too weak to do anything.
Yeah,
they'll die in one hit. So anyway, let's get to the bad show that I'm watching, Goblin Slayer.
Oh boy. Again,
it's just something to do while I'm on the treadmill. Something I can poke fun at Terrence about, shout out, because he likes this mess. So it's not very, again, it's not very good. I got to a point where he fought like a big goblin, and he beat the goblin, but then he ended up dying. Right?
Oh.
So Goblin Slayer is dead, but he's not actually dead.
Right, they're never really dead.
I'm just watching season 1. There's already season 3 is about to come out, so he's not dead for real.
No way. Yeah.
But then it turned. So it went from weird goblin rape, right?
Mm-hmm.
To fantasy adventure to go kill goblins.
Mm-hmm.
And then he died, and now it's like, oh, lay naked with a virgin, and now you'll be healed.
Okay.
Huh, who made that rule?
So I don't know, but I was just like, okay, now we're getting back to this weirdness again. However, they did mention one thing, and it's starting to make a lot more sense. They mentioned more women that were sexually raped by these goblins, and they started to kind of not really explain why the goblins do it, but they're kind of explaining how it affects everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
as opposed to like, oh, it's just they rape them and we got to go kill them. There was more story tied into it. So in this particular episode, they show why he's so hell bent on killing goblins is because apparently when he was little and his sister was little, which is also disturbing because now at this point they're saying that the goblins raped the little sister.
Ooh.
So now it went from raping women to raping little girls. However, he was not able to save her. So that's why he's just trying to get stronger and stronger and go kill all the goblins because his sister got raped by one. And not only was his sister, but in the last episode I told y'all that somebody in a far off land called for him because they had a goblin infestation. So they went to help. So the chick, I don't remember her name, but she's over that kingdom. She said also that when she was younger, were raped by goblins as well, and something happened where she lost her sight, so she can hardly see.
Gosh, darn.
So whatever happened in that battle. So and basically her point of view is, she's some high ranked warrior, right? But she's over the castle, so it's like she can't really be putting herself at risk going out and fighting all the time. So she basically made it seem like I went out and I got famous because I killed this big other thing over here. But I'm afraid of goblins because of what happened to me.
Oh, so she's traumatized.
Yep.
Okay.
So my question is, because I want to, I always like to get in the conversation. So let's go ahead and jump in round 2.
Round 2.
How far is too far for y'all when an anime? And can y'all give me an example of like, all right, like I want to turn this off now, or I don't ever want to watch this again?
So for me, what is that show called that we watched?
Step by Step.
No.
Day by Day.
No, the one with the long hair and the horse, and there was
Ghost of Tsushima.
No.
Are you talking about Berserk?
Yeah, Berserk. So there was the scene in Berserk where the girl is kind of, I guess you could call her raped.
Yeah. Oh, Casca?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was.
That scene was not, for some reason, I don't know why, was not that bad to me. But speaking of Goblin Slayer is the only anime that I've seen where that girl was raped, and even though they didn't show it, it's like they didn't show as much in Goblin Slayer as they did in Berserk.
Yeah, they didn't show like hardly anything in Goblin Slayer.
Right. But there's something that's so disturbing about basically a gang rape by goblins that it's almost like makes you think of like bestiality. Even though they're not animals, they're not like
Well, Griffith
people.
wasn't necessarily human.
I know, but
he was some kind of demon-winged demon.
I know, but I don't know.
Demon wing.
I don't know what it is about it. It wasn't like that bad to me in Berserk.
You want me to tell you what I think? I think it's because the way how they like illustrated, I guess, like in terms of how the music was playing and how it was like, you know, like a whole like adrenaline rush type deal of, you know, Guts is trying to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening.
That's what's more disturbing to me, honestly. Not her getting raped. What's disturbing to me is like they basically made him watch.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like.
I mean, it was disturbing to me because, like I said, he was some kind of winged demon. But it was less disturbing to me because, like I said, when we did the review, is she didn't resist. So can we even call that rape?
Right. I mean, well, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
But I will say that
she was down.
Okay, but I will say that the Berserk
consensual Casca.
Okay, so
oh boy,
even though the Berserk one was much more graphic and there was disturbing aspects of it, it was more like made me feel more like ugh when I watched Goblin Slayer.
What you got? You got something over there? Mike probably don't have anything.
No, you know, you may say the thing about it, like when I first started watching some anime and I did get to like stuff like Berserk, you know, just as a good example, that really like at first that was kind of like, oh my gosh, like this is, I couldn't handle it. Like it made me literally sick to the stomach. I was like, man, I can't do this. But
the Casca scene, or
not just the Casca scene, just watching it in general, because like especially in the manga and looking at the anime, it was like a lot of gore. It was like here's the thing about it, like in the manga, there was a scene where, like I said, like Guts had to like legit like kill like these like I think it was like these possessed kids and stuff. Like he was like slaying them in half and everything, and he was doing it with a smile. And I was like, oh gosh, like you know this, like you know, at first it was like that, but then I think over time for me, I started getting used to it, and then I was just saying like, okay, these are just like this is life. This is real life. This is probably what would possibly happen if this stuff was real. So, you know, it stopped bothering me. Like I haven't seen anything in an anime that will make me say, "Oh, this is too far."
Well, if you start off with Berserk, I'm not saying you started off there, but you had to be younger than I was when I got a hold to Berserk because I'm older than you. So even if we got to it at the same time, you were still 4 years younger than me. So when you start off with a Berserk or a Ninja Scroll or something like that, or if you happen to buy La Blue Girl at Movie Trading Company and get it, and it's like hardcore, like monster porn, it's like, what is this? Like, why are you selling like monster porn at Movie Trading Company? Then it's like this stuff that's happening in Goblin Slayer is like nothing compared to what was happening in La Blue Girl. Because, so just think of Goblin Slayer mixed with the scene from Berserk, and then do that across the whole episode or whole movie. Because the difference in La Blue Girl versus what was happening in Berserk is, again, I feel like Berserk was a little consensual. It was not consensual in La Blue Girl, and every battle scene was that. Like girl gets raped by demons and monsters, and then fights back and ends up killing them. So that's what that whole thing was. So I think when you start off and see that at a younger age, and I'm saying Ninja Scroll at 14, you know, Berserk at 17, the Blue Girl at 18, it's like this stuff in Goblin Slayer is like, eh.
Well, you know, and that's the thing about it. When it happened and everybody was complaining, I was like, is this your first time watching anime? Because I was like, we've been to this road before. I was like, there may be things way worse in terms of just like watching like you know, I mean, I guess it's the way how it's presented, because I mean, like you may see like the scene in Goblin Slayer and be like, oh my gosh, that is horrible. But then you sit there and you watch somebody like Nappa lift his fingers up, everybody in the city dies, and I'm like, well, everybody died. But that doesn't bother us though, as much as another scene that isn't presented with like
they don't, because they don't show either one. They don't show the goblins raping, and they don't show the people dying that Nappa killed.
Yeah,
but Nappa literally killed thousands of people in an instant.
Yeah, just gone. Like you know, if you start thinking about it, kind of like Star Wars, like when Luke Skywalker destroyed the Death Star.
Shout out.
There was actually like a bunch of stormtroopers on there that had actual 401k type deals and families. They were just the military. They were literally just the military, and he literally killed millions of those people, but that didn't bother us. We were like, yeah,
because they were the bad guys. Yeah,
well, they were considered the bad guys, but they were technically not all of them were actually bad.
Well, but to counter that though, they didn't focus on all those people dying.
Yeah, exactly.
And Goblin Slayer, they do focus, and they keep focusing on what these goblins are doing to these women.
So do you think it's just the way how if they focus on the subject really hard and get too in depth, is that what starts making us
maybe because it's one thing to have a quick scene. But then it's another thing to have a quick scene and keep keep talking about it over and over, kind of like we keep doing on this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes my stomach hurt. I don't like that show. That just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, this is not the way to start a show for me.
And then at the end of the day, I'm not really sure who their audience is, because it's not for kids, but it's not like adult enough for me to like it. And then obviously she doesn't like it. So it's like, I don't know who your target audience is, but the show is not very good. So you don't have a lot of room to be turning people away from it.
You lost me.
You want me to tell you something else that happened? You know, Guts got raped in Berserk.
What?
I mean, you see, he liked to spoil stuff.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to watch it.
I'm sorry.
Why?
My bad.
Like by another guy?
Yes.
You talking about the little king dude?
No, not the king dude.
Oh, no, so he's spoiling stuff.
No.
Spoiler alert.
In the manga?
No. I mean,
in the manga that they haven't drawn and made yet.
No. It's technically no. This is from the. They showed this in the animated series. This is from the I don't know if you've seen that one though. You have seen it. You've seen the original cartoon animated one. Yeah. So I don't think she has though.
No, she hasn't seen it.
No, she hasn't seen it. But that did happen though when he was young. He actually, like, as a young boy, he got raped.
Now, I will say that's terrible.
Yeah.
I will say that one thing that bothered me on Berserk that made me feel kind of just like, is that little guy that, like, his job is to torture people. That was, like, kind of on the edge for me, because I was like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch people get tortured.
Because you know what? Because, like you said, like, imagine if it was just, imagine if it was like, okay, like, you see the scene, you see him torturing him, like, oh gosh, like he's actually doing it. I mean, it adds more weight to the scene and what's happening. But imagine if they would have he said, okay, let the torture begin, and then they just show a door close, you're I don't think it would make the scene as impactful.
Right.
Maybe not the scene. The scene itself is whatever, but the aftermath of what happened after he got tortured, it wouldn't have made that as impactful.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But you know what? I wonder, like, do you think they should do that just so they could add that big emotional weight to you? You know, because I mean, here's the thing, I watched Space Runaway Ideon, right? And in there, I literally watched a kid's head get blown off by a laser. Like, the kid was just like, oh my gosh, let me do this. He put his head up, boom, a laser literally just knocked this kid's head off. But it was showing like, oh, this is how war really is. Like, nobody is safe from it.
Right.
You know, I kind of wonder, like, if they don't do that, like, I mean, are they doing us a favor by not showing us that, or is that too much, you know?
It just depends on the nature of the anime. So Berserk is more serious, more dark tone. Goblin Slayer is not. Like, half of it is like, half of every episode is kind of like goofy and people just making fun of the Goblin Slayer because he's just like, I'm here for the goblins. Where the point to the goblins. There's some goblins, and they start making jokes, and it's funny, and it's like lighthearted, and we're going on a fantasy adventure. So it's like I said, none of this stuff actually fits the bulk of what's happening in this anime. So if you wanted to be dark and serious, and you wanted to get the emotional connection to the characters who ended up finding Griffith and Berserk and seeing what happened to him and being so angry and sad, that they couldn't save him, and now he'll never walk again, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and you have to show that. But in Goblin Slayer, I mean, this is so trash and goofy. It's like whatever. Like, don't show it. It should, like, you could have just taken that whole part out. You could have just replaced it because they haven't shown anything. You could have just replaced that with the goblins attacked me when I was younger.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and you will get the same effect, but you don't get turned off by it. So since they're not going to show it anyway.
You know what? I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I guess that does make sense. I mean, I guess the way how they executed it probably just wasn't the best then.
Right.
So what about for you? Is there anything?
I don't know. Like I said, my story was like about seeing a little blue girl at 18. So it's just like anything. I have not seen anything worse since then. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I guess I'm numb to it or immune to it.
So that's a rape scene in that one?
That's the whole movie. Well, that's the whole series.
And it's not even
is women getting ninja. I won't say ninja, but women getting raped by monsters and fighting and killing them.
And that's the thing about it. It's not even just like the whole one scene where it's like, oh my gosh, it's a rape scene. It's just in certain animes, you see certain things where you get like that big traumatizing moment, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like,
well, like Neon Genesis.
Yeah,
like I definitely don't want to spoil that, but I mean, it's some stuff that happened in Neon Genesis. It's like, yo, that's effed up.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh gosh, and then but we're over that. We'll see it and be like, oh, huh.
Yeah, at this point, y'all have seen so much stuff. It's like whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a friend of mine was showing me a thing where it was in a manga though. Like there was this chick, she's like a bee or something, right? Like, and she has like this ability to control people. You literally see her like take a stinger that she has and just like graphically like sting these people straight through their bodies, through their face, and it's grotesque. It looks crazy, and it's like, but like to us, I'm like, oh gosh, you know what? That's probably what would happen.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going out looking for the Saw type animes. Right? That's not what I'm looking for. But if I happen to see an anime or stumble across one and something gruesome happens, it's not going to bother me that much. Now, if the whole anime is like that, then more than likely I'm not going to like it anyway. More than likely it won't be an anime that I would choose to watch regardless. So I like we've talked about this on the show before, where we can look at the back of a DVD.
And
look at the company who dubbed it, look at some of the scenes and know like, yo, this is either going to be dope or this is going to be trash or this is going to be something I don't like at all. Exactly. So whether it be too gruesome or whether it be like a comedy, funny type of animated stuff I don't like, you just know. So it's like, I'm never going to just accidentally stumble across some nonsense. Yeah. Like I would have never watched Goblin Slayer. I just watched it because Terrence shout out. Therefore, you would have never saw it. Yeah. You would have never been exposed to this because it's not anything I would have ever watched. So, we know. So we know what to stay away from. Not necessarily because of the gruesome scenes, but more than likely the animes that have to sell based off these gruesome scenes and rape scenes and things of that nature are probably not that great to begin with. That's why you have to put in this stuff. Yeah. And we're not going to watch it anyway. Yep. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that. No, don't get me worked up because I'm already mad at this computer.
Don't throw it.
I'm going to throw it out the window.
Just let me jump out the way.
Wait till I get a free weekend. We're replacing this thing. Yeah. Anyway, y'all got anything else on that? Y'all ready to get into round 3?
Just one more thing and then
okay. All right. Hands off.
Yeah, just real quick. Hey, watch out, Pilgrim.
Hey, I'll stand by.
Oh, gosh. No, but I was going to say, I think the only time it would actually legit be too much for me is when it does not make sense. It's like you're watching it, good movie,
and just something just happens for no reason.
Yeah, and it just happens for no reason. It's like, why are you doing this? Like, it's like, it doesn't lead to nothing impactful. Doesn't lead nothing that makes sense. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody has their thing in them that will make them say this is too much. It's not going to bother some other people.
And if you were watching Gundam Wing the same time I was watching Gundam Wing, that means you were in middle school, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Hiro killed that little kid. You remember?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, there was an episode where it's like he realized that he killed a little kid in a battle
yeah.
Just random on accident. He didn't do it on purpose, but you walk around this big mobile suit on the ground. There's little kids running, people running. You might step on one.
Yep.
This came on cable TV, so regular TV in the afternoon.
Oh gosh.
So again, they didn't show it like Goblin Slayer. However, we're being subjected to the casualties of war, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But in a kind of gruesome way when you realize, oh man, he probably stepped on that little kid in a humongous Gundam.
Yeah.
And now he's dead. And now I'm down with the teddy bear crying and looking at the teddy bear because I killed this little boy.
But that's interesting. Can I say one more thing? I just want to traumatize her and then I'm done.
Oh, he wants to traumatize me.
It was another thing that was from Gundam. It was crazy. From War in a Pocket. There were actually a battle going on in the city, and apparently one of the mobile suits shot a bullet. You know like how the shell comes out? This one woman was running with her baby. Shell came, bop, hit her in the back of the head, just like that. Died right there on the ground. Baby's crying. Nobody got that baby. Like that.
Oh my gosh.
No,
but that's war. That's what some people during that time have seen stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't seen a Gundam or a mech do that, but
sure, they saw the Gundam and the mothership. Y'all ready for round 3?
Yes.
I'm not crazy.
Round 3.
Round 3. We are reviewing
Paprika.
Paprika? Pop Rocks? Pop Lock and Drop It?
Paprika.
Okay.
Well, that's how I say it.
Yeah. So this one, I'm not gonna lie up front. Wait, are we doing spoiler free? I forgot all about that.
I mean, we can do like a quick synopsis of what we think, and then we can go straight into spoilers.
Well, let's talk about certain aspects. Let's talk about the graphics real quick. Graphics, because we did Perfect Blue. And this movie was made, 10 years after Perfect Blue?
I believe so.
It
came way later.
2006? So, yeah, that's about 10 years.
I think this is the last film that Satoshi Kon did, too.
Oh, okay. So, the graphics were fine. The graphics look good to me, especially when they got into that weird little world with everybody marching down the street. Yeah. Like, those graphics seem to be more crisp and clear for some reason. I don't know why. But I like the graphics. Did you like the graphics on this one?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't like, oh my God, the graphics are so awesome, but they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it with an appreciation.
So let's talk about other things.
Okay.
Let's talk about the voice acting. Did you watch it in English?
I have heard it in English before, but I watched it in Japanese.
Okay. I like the voice acting, the English.
I think there was like two characters I didn't like. I didn't like the big guy. What was his name? I got it written down somewhere, but
you had to give it to me. I'm just call him Hiro Yui. Not Hiro Yui. I'm gonna call him Amuro Ray.
Baby Genius or whatever.
Right. And then the little short
Doctor
dude.
Oh,
yeah. I didn't like either one of their voices at all. Especially the big dude. It just didn't even match at all. But at the same time, that same thing happened with Perfect Blue.
So what kind of voice did they give him?
It was just like a whiny, like that big old man, and he just had like a whiny little like timid kind of. Well, it wasn't timid. Like he spoke with confidence when he was talking about the scientific stuff, but it was just like a whiny, like a puny.
But
like,
I see. But remember they kept calling him. He's like a big little kid.
Right, but
so
still,
I wonder if that's why
it still didn't look right.
I'd probably say that's probably about the same that they did for the Japanese one, because when even when I heard him, he did kind of have somewhat of a
whiny.
Oh my gosh,
high pitch.
Oh, like
but like this dude is literally humongous, though.
Yes, he is, absolutely.
I mean, this is not any kind of little. Like he sound like a little wimpy guy. I know they kept saying he would seem like a younger guy, or whatever, a kid, but this was like a humongous person.
Yeah.
Like one of the opening scenes, like it was stuck in the elevator.
Right.
Like he was literally stuck in the elevator. I don't know how he got in the elevator.
That's what I was wondering too.
But that's how big he was. So 600 pounds.
Yeah.
650.
He had to be
at least. So for him to have this little squeaky little, it's like I wasn't feeling that.
Oh no, I understand.
So what else we got? Somebody else throw something out there. Not spoiler free.
Well, we can talk about the plot in general. without getting to the to spoil anything.
Okay.
I did think you didn't have to tell me this, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have thought this anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I did think of Inception
Yeah.
as I was watching this, because I really was like, you start to wonder, like, what is really happening?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is real and what is a dream?
Mm-hmm.
But as per most animes, I got lost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, what?
It was just so good, you got lost in the sauce.
Well, but the same thing happened to me with Inception. I always plan to go back and watch Inception again, because the first time I watched Inception, I was just like, it just got too complicated and too many layers, and I was just like, I'm so confused.
Layers to this.
Yeah, and I felt like that was going on here too. I was very confused as to what that guy was dreaming about. You know, why, what's her name? Oh, Paprika, hello, was like showing up, and then, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, you're trying to spoil stuff. But.
No, but you know what? And I agree that, like, even I was getting confused at some points up there where I was trying to follow the story. And I was like, I guess they did that one of the things where we talked about before, where they started off with, oh, you already know what's happening, but then they start filling in.
No.
Yeah, and then they start kind of filling in the blanks later on to, like, oh, this is what's happening, and then it's like, oh, okay, because it's like, you know, it was like, okay, how, like, why are they in?
But I think the part you're talking about, that's not really them filling in what's happening. It's just showing why it was happening, and then it showed it again happening, but it had a different outcome.
So let's back up for a second. So there is a not a machine, a trinket, whatever you want to call it,
Okay.
that the kid invented, right?
Yeah.
That can read your dreams. Like, it can translate your dreams to
I think it's Dr. Kosaku.
the doctor. Yeah. Right. And so somebody got a hold of it, right?
Yeah.
We don't know who.
Yeah.
That's basically the plot, right? And people are like, and this is where I got kind of got lost, where somebody got a hold of it. It wasn't finished or locked or whatever it was, and so it started like pulling from other people's dreams or something. It started like.
So now you're spoiling it.
Well, I don't know how to not spoil this.
Okay, well, let's talk about something else then, and then we can get into the spoiler edition.
But that's not really a spoil. I mean, the spoil is like kind of at the end.
Well, that kind of happened at the end.
No.
Yeah.
No, because those two people were laying there, right? And they were like, how is all this stuff is coming together? Like,
anyway, we're still talking about the story. So
that's what I'm talking about.
I know. I'm saying we shouldn't be talking about the story right now.
All right,
so,
go.
So let's talk about something else. Music. I heard you playing some.
I
was gonna mention
that
playing
song.
some music earlier. So,
oh my gosh.
So let me tell you about this song though. It's not a bad song. It's a high quality song. I just don't like. I how can I put this? I didn't like it. It reminded me too much of circus music.
Oh my god, I loved it.
Which I think in some of the opening scenes it was circus, and that's when they first played it. And then they, you know, a lot of times when they played it throughout, it was like a traveling circus.
Yeah, basically.
So it's like, it's not that it was a bad song. So when we watched Perfect Blue and they kept playing that Cham song over and over.
Yeah.
But again, they started to use it in like creepy ways where like the song is playing, but something is creepy that's happening to the main character and she's running for her life or something, right? It's dramatic, but they're using it in a creepy way. This one, it really wasn't used in a creepy way. Like every time it was used, there was something, even if there's something sinister happening, what you saw on the screen was bright, colorful stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just like, okay.
I loved it. Every time it came on, I got so happy.
Yeah, I loved it too. I you know, I'm already a really big fan of Hirosawa.
DJ Quick?
Not DJ Quick, no, Hirosawa, sir.
Oh.
But, you know, like you said, I'm not gonna lie. That song, I know which one you're talking about. At first it kind of like, when I heard it the first time, I was like, this is kind of weird. But then the more I heard it and I seen it with the scene, it kept getting better and better.
Yeah, and especially when you hear a song for the first time, you have your initial impression of it. But when for me anyway, when you hear it again and again, I start breaking down some of the instruments and how they bring in some of the beats and things of that nature. And I was like, oh, this song is actually really, really, really well done.
Yeah.
Circus folk smell like cabbage, But, so,
You know what? But I mean, as you can see, from his music that he did with Berserk and also what he did with this right here, can you actually tell the style? You see how it has a certain type of style to it.
Yeah, I just think this one didn't have any emotional effect for me.
Okay, I understand.
At all. There was like no emotional connection with the song. Did it fit the scenes that it was played in? Yes, but there was really no emotional connection that like would make it like super memorable years down the road.
I understand. What about for you?
The song?
Like, did it have a really big impact? Did you feel like, did it add more weight to like when you were watching it?
Like what was happening in the movie?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it fit the scene, like we said. But that's about it. But
that's about it.
But I liked it.
But you liked it though. Nice.
Yeah. So I don't know what we was. We talked about the voiceovers. We talked about music. We talked about the plot. Let's give our scores real quick.
Okay.
And then we can see if there's any more non-spoiler stuff we can give out, and then we can jump into the spoiler. Mike, what you got?
I gave it an 8.8.
8.8.
Mm-hmm.
And you did that. You actually did the math this time. I saw you.
Yes.
Because we had plenty of time. You could have did the math 8 times.
I could have.
At least.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, we could have. With all that time we had.
Yeah.
7.83.
Oh.
Genesis.
Oh. Ow.
This.
I hit the wrong button.
I have my reasons.
Okay. All right. No, I mean, you got a perfect blue at 8, like something. So.
Yeah.
I gave it an 8.36.
Oh, okay.
So this happened to be a full point lower than what I gave Perfect Blue, which was a 9.36.
Mine's not that off from yours. 7.8, 8.3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
8.36.
Well, mine was 7.38.
Don't forget the 6.
Or 7.83.
Okay, so some of my high notes were the graphics, which we talked about already. Then the sound, and then the story overall, which we don't want to really get deep into right this second, but the story overall and the character development is what was lacking for me.
Same here. That's where like a lot of the notes that brought it down for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I liked it, but
same
basically, yeah. I didn't score it super high on graphics, but I mean, to me, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the plot, the story, I felt like it was a good concept, but the execution was just insane to me.
So, real quick before we get into the spoiler zone, would you recommend this or watch this again?
Oh, absolutely.
I would watch it again.
But you wouldn't.
I'm not ready to recommend it yet. I need to watch it one more time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure on the recommendation. Because of what was going on in the story. I've seen a lot of anime, so I could appreciate certain aspects of it. I'm not sure if I would recommend it per se. It had to be the right person, but I would definitely watch it again.
Mm.
Yeah, I think things would make more sense if I watched it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. That's how he does a lot of his movies too. If you watch it again, you start noticing certain things.
Yeah, I think things would piece together a little bit better for me.
Oh, I forgot to bring the dang DVD in here and hold it up, and
Did you put up your hand like up?
You know what? I think I might have already stored it away upstairs. Anyway, we're about to get into the spoiler zone.
Let's do it live.
Alert.
So everybody listening out there, just know
Spoiler alert.
spoilers are coming. So if y'all don't want to hear them,
Spoiler alert.
just mute the video.
Alert, alert, alert.
So anyway, let's get into this story or non-story or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's two problems I had with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
One, the story was very complex.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
And that's why I want to watch it again. I don't know if I was just unprepared for the complexities that happen on my TV, or if I was just sleepy. Because I'm not gonna lie, I almost fell asleep 3 times on this movie, and that might be another reason why I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anyone. So it's not that it was a bad movie; it was just a lot of dialogue. And what was happening was a lot of the dialogue was just fluff. Some was a little backstory, and then all of a sudden I might yawn. And then that yawn when I can't hear anything is when they would say the one
something
line.
crucial. Yeah.
The one line that you watch this whole interaction go down for, so you can get this one piece of information, and then I missed it. And then they cut to the next scene. And I was just like, okay. So it's very easy to get lost. And I don't want to say it's because it's so complex. It's just because if you miss one line here, one line there,
the minor details,
you just won't know what's going on. And it was just like, God, dang, man, it's like now I'm trying to figure it all out, and this is not the type of movie that you figure out.
It's very like it's like a puzzle. I mean, because there's stuff that happens that's so, and this is one thing I have trouble with anime. Some stuff happens that makes no sense. Literally, like there's a scene where the guy is trying to get through the screen of the movie in the movie theater. He's trying to get through it. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Is this a dream? Like, or is this just a weird anime thing? That's where I started getting really confused. Like, what is real?
Well, I think with this one,
like, I didn't think the parade was real, but I was like, what is real?
Well, I think for me, that's what made it easy to recognize what was a dream and what wasn't.
Yeah.
As soon as they started doing that kind of stuff, it's like, okay, this is a dream.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
But see, do you see my struggle though? Because when we watched Perfect Blue, the chick was flying around.
Well, but to be fair to anime and to this movie, that's Perfect Blue.
I know, but I'm saying
that don't have,
But one of the things that we talked about when we reviewed Perfect Blue, one of the things you both said is, well, just anime just has that stuff sometimes. Like, it doesn't really make sense, but like, you just have it.
No, this one did have that. I don't think that, for me, it wasn't that case. It was the case of, at the end, everyone's dreams merging together, and everyone was in there and able to kind of control their actions at the end with the big battle against, the main boss and the big robot and things of that nature. So that's the part that didn't necessarily make sense. I know they tried to explain it, but that's the thing with anime. They will try to explain something and they just leave it at that. And if it makes sense to you, it makes sense to you. If it don't, it doesn't. So how everyone's dreams, how everyone was in the same dream, especially when you only had 2 devices.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the anime weird part that didn't necessarily make sense.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like...
Yeah, and I think that's what the other thing is. Like, there was just those 2 people sleeping, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet all this stuff was going on.
Which, I mean, stream. That's what made it really drastic was, like you said, the whole, oh my gosh, all the dreams are merging together. But the whole thing, like when you said back on Perfect Blue, and even on this movie here, like I said, we've seen certain scenes where, like you said, Kosaka, I guess
Dr.
that's how
Kosaka?
You say, like
Kosaku?
How he was a robot, and how the I'm hopefully this is him, but Dr. Seijiro, I think that's him. Like how he actually how he was a certain type of way or whatever, like in the dream, like he was like, oh, I'm in the party and everything. It's like there's something that there's what we perceive that's happening, and then there is what's happening. Like, so what we're perceiving was happening is he's in the party or in his dream doing whatever, but what's really happening is he's laid out code.
See, I think I got the opposite of that in the beginning. When someone else's dreams were implanted in his head, he wasn't knocked out cold. He was walking down the hallway thinking he was a part of the parade.
Yeah, technically, yes.
So I actually really enjoyed that. I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
But then like it did like a 180, and it's like, instead of people walking around dreaming per se, and because I think didn't the lady almost jump off? She almost killed herself.
Yeah,
she almost jumped. Yeah, and then didn't the lady almost jump off the?
Yes, the building.
Oh yeah. You're talking about the main character.
So I was like all in for that. I was like, oh man! But then they did a 180, and most of the cool weird stuff that happened after that was all in Dreamland.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, yo, we got to go into Dreamland to defeat the enemy. And it's just like I was really looking more forward to what was happening in the real world with people getting their dreams. They were actually, I guess, sleepwalking, Ambien, right? Shout out. So they were kind of sleepwalking, but they were living out these dreams, but jumping out in front of trucks and jumping off buildings and stuff. I was like, yo, like I'm down for that.
In all honesty, I really believe that to keep the illusion, I believe that the final scene of the movie where all that chaos and everything was going on, which I know we'll talk about, of course, but I believe that that's probably what was happening. Like people jumping in front of cars and people jumping off. I bet there was like all kind of crazy chaos. Even though we didn't see that, we just saw a parade going. Where in all actuality, like I think like after they showed like the whole final battle of Dr. Chiba, I'm gonna call her Paprika, which she has her alternate personality, and the main doctor, after they did their battle, they kind of showed, okay, this is reality now. And I was like, oh, there's a car right there where that one guy went right there. So he was probably in a car driving, and he probably drove into the building, and I don't know. It was freaky.
So what was up with Professor Xavier?
Professor Xavier?
Yeah.
So I guess like
he was the bad guy, right?
With no tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
With extra tomatoes.
Oh gosh. Like from my perception of it, I guess what he did was he wanted to he was the one that founded the whole project to make the device. We're gonna call it the Inception device. We're to make that Inception device, right? And I guess what he decided to do is, okay, like I can, even though he's limited in the real world, this is how I perceived it. He was limited in the real world because he was crippled. He was like, oh, I can have full control in the dreamland. So I guess he was making it out to where, oh no, this isn't gonna work. No, this is bad. But I think in all actuality, he was like, nope, I got what I needed. Now cancel this project because he didn't want anybody else to hold that same power that he was gonna have. So, because didn't they say from the beginning somebody stole? They said they stole the
prototype.
The prototype.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then they gave us the red herring of what is it? Himura? Yeah. Like Himura, who was Dr. Kosaku's friend. They made us think that he was the one doing all of this, but he really wasn't. But it's only just to gain power in the dreamland.
So I think with this, what I just feel like you had a great idea and it just could have been executed a lot better, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have explored, you could have kept some of that stuff out and explored other things. I think it was what I said about Perfect Blue, which is he didn't really fool me with your misdirection. I think you tried extra hard this time to give you all this misdirection from scene one. There ain't gonna be this mild misdirection and this and that. This might happen.
He kind of overshot a little bit on this one.
It was. I mean, he went straight up Trump debate 2020. He just went full blast, and it was just like, yo, bro, what is you doing? I think the other thing too, when you have these characters, and we talked about the graphics in Perfect Blue and how they look more like real people. The buildings look like real buildings. The cars look like so. When you have that, there's more of a connection to it where I can relate to it. So I'm not a pop idol, right? So I can't relate to from that standpoint. But most of the stuff in Perfect Blue, you can relate to it. You can understand. It's like, oh, I can see this happening in real life, right? Nothing in this movie is anything that you can relate to, except for maybe the what was he, a cop?
Yes.
The main cop in parts of his storyline, which I don't understand how it even, like, at the end of the day, it's like his storyline and him making a movie and not making a movie and didn't finish the movie and all this other crap is like, what does this have to do with anything? Like, for real, at the end of the day?
I liked that, though. I liked his story.
I just didn't, because I don't feel like it tied into anything. Like, if it would have tied into something more.
It technically did. I mean, like, he technically coincidentally, because they were testing it out on him because they weren't supposed to.
Right.
Technically, because he knew about what was going on, he was actually able to help. And at the very end, So I think that's where his ties come in.
Well, no, I mean like just the whole part of him. I used to be a movie producer.
Oh yeah,
and I used to be an actor, and then we never finished the movie, and then the person got replaced. Like his backstory, I was just like, what does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, but I felt like it kind of brought the whole we're analyzing your dreams to help you understand what's bothering you, because that's usually they say you dream about your it's just things in your
but
subconscious.
I wish they would have tied it up that way then. Like he finally got that counseling session or the help that he needed, and like I get that he finally understood at the end, but they didn't really put a bow on it like you just explained it. Like
you want them to kind of refine it or do it a little bit better in a different manner.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they put so much emphasis on those scenes and those movie scenes he was in, and the person choking him on the train and shooting at him, chasing the dude, and the dude died and he couldn't save him, and they put so much emphasis on that just for like at the end of the day, somebody told him, "Oh, I remember that movie. It was pretty good," and he was like, "Oh yeah," and like this whole I haven't been to the movie in 20 years.
Yeah,
it's just like. But they showing Perfect Blue because I saw it. They did had a little cameo.
Oh yeah,
you noticed that too.
Yeah, it's like they're showing all of the Kon movies, and you go see Perfect Blue, bro. Like I don't care what happened to you, why you didn't finish the movie, whatever.
So here's my question. This is where I got a little confused. Also,
okay,
is in the beginning I got it like she was Paprika trying to help him, in the very beginning opening scene. He's dreaming. She's kind of in his dream with him. Right, trying to, I guess, help understand, but later, like, how is she the doctor, but she's also like in his dreams with him? Like, remember she kept popping up like in the cigar bar or whatever that was. It's just like, what are you doing? Who is this?
Okay, so one thing I think they were getting at, I don't think I can fully explain it all the way, but I think they were saying that one way to kind of interpret it, I think what they were saying is that the internet is kind of a way of your sending your self-conscious in there and your persona. And it's like, I think that's what it really kind of was. I think it could have been technically like he was just messaging her and she was probably messaging him. Okay. And it's technically like, oh, okay, this is how I am online. I think that's how I kind of take that.
Again, yawn, missed the line.
Yeah, because it's
like, okay, she's in his dreams. Okay, fine, let's keep it moving.
Well, because it's like, is this your alternate persona, or like, I don't understand. How are you in the dreams?
Well, and it's just like, why is everybody else themselves in the dream, but you are like this totally different person?
Yeah,
that's Paprika.
She actually did have a like Paprika is actually, I think, technically how she wants to be on the inside, because you can notice that when you regularly see her, she's just kind of stone faced, strict, and she just does it a certain way. But then when she's ready to like do something, go into a dream, or even when she expresses herself, she starts, I think that's her way of saying, okay, this is Paprika, but it's really her. That's how she truly is on the inside.
I just sprinkled a little bit of Lane in there, which is like she was the one who was able to control the dreamland the most until later on when the evil doctor got in there. Professor X.
Yeah.
Extra tomatoes. Once he got in there, he was actually able to control the dreamland to the level like she was as well. So a lot of people got in their dreamland and didn't really know what they could and couldn't do. Like, for example, the cop in the beginning, and they kidnapped him and he ended up in the cage and he started falling from the ceiling. Like, if you really knew you were in a dream, then I could have just conjured up a plane or conjured up some pillows and fell on the pillows and made a gun appear and I'm shoot you and blah 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 and get out of there. But he didn't know. Right, so he couldn't control any of that until the end. Yeah, where he went in was trying to save her, and then he could control a little bit. So I guess I can see where she can show as the different persona online, but like I said, I just feel like they didn't do a good job explaining it. But that's what I got from it. Like she can control her environment in the dream world better than she was an expert at it. Yeah. So she can go in and manipulate and do things that other people couldn't do.
Well, that's one of the reasons why. my score was a little bit lower because I felt the same way. It could have been explained a little bit better. Even though, hey, like Satoshi Kon is my favorite and I love these, it could have been done better. But another thing I want to mention too was I did like the scene where I forgot, it was another colleague they had, Dr. How do you say his name? Morio?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I guess Dr. Morio, you find out that he's actually working with like the director or the head guy or so that funded them. Yeah. And I did like the scene where he was in love with Paprika. He was in love with Dr. Chiba.
He was sexually harassing. He was about to do the Goblin to her.
He about to do the Goblin.
He was about to do the Goblin.
Oh gosh.
Oh yes. Yeah.
But the thing is interesting because while we're looking at her, like, oh, this is Paprika, and we were trying to figure out like which personality is truly her. He was like, I love you for who you actually are. And then like, he basically took her out of that shell of like, no, you are not Paprika. You like, no, I guess she was saying you are Paprika, or you're this is who you are.
Right.
And I think at the very end of the movie, I think she kind of came to terms of, yes, this is
really me.
Yeah. And I guess it's like the whole very end of the movie where she was.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been better if they didn't tell you from the very start of the movie that she and Paprika were one and the same.
Yeah.
They told you that like in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, they did.
And then they kept telling you that. So that was the only kind of constant source of like information. Like, we're in the dreamland and this chick is actually Paprika. So that's the constant like thing that they kept kind of pushing and telling you, so you knew that. It would have been better if at the end, when she did come out of her shell, that was the first time that you realized that that's who that was. Then you definitely would have had to go back and watch the movie again and then piece everything together. It's like, oh, okay, now this makes sense now. So like you said, man, they could have done this better. If they didn't have such a great idea, I wouldn't care if they did it better or not. Like, I'm not about to sit here and say, oh, they could have done Goblin Slayer better. I don't care. It's trash all the way through. But they actually had a great idea here. And it's just like, it was just a bit of a miss. But there were so many things that were high quality: the animation, the cinematography, the graphics,
the parade music,
the music, the general idea. Like, so that's why the score is so high, as opposed to saying why the score is so low. Right. But I think we're all on the same page in general.
Yeah.
You gonna get in the parade?
I'm not trying to get in the parade at all.
No?
No, I don't have anything to do with that parade. That looks insane.
But they're going to play your music for you, though.
I know, but I'll just watch it from the sidelines.
Watch from the sidelines.
I mean, and I really, really feel like they did it enough, but I feel like they could have done it a lot more whenever she would just take over like a poster on the wall that had a horse on it.
Oh, yeah.
Jump on the horse, make the horse come to life and ride up the street. I feel like they could have done a lot more of that. And not just with her, but with other people that ended up in the dreamland. You didn't really see them using, all of that stuff to their advantage as much. You saw the big dude in the robot suit. But I mean, I just feel like you could have done so much, and that lends to what we were talking about the other day, which is, you can do anything when you're drawing it. You can draw her doing whatever. You can draw her jumping into a poster on a horse on a poster and then take off up the road. Like,
it was very creative, but it, like you said, like, it could have been wild.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been trippy.
I feel like you should have at least had 2 or 3 of those longer scenes where that was happening. I feel like there was only like one long scene where that was happening, chain of events. Other times it might just happen once here, once there, just so you know it could happen. It was almost like you were teasing, just dangling it there. Oh, look at the possibilities, but no, you
not quite.
You almost had it. Tomatoes. I was like, okay.
Oh, guys.
So anyway, 8.36, Mike.
I was at 8.8.
8.8. And then low man.
7.83, I think.
Ooh.
That's not that far off from yours.
But I mean, you know what? I'm looking right here, and I'm looking like IMDb. I'm looking at their scores. Like, IMDb gave it a 7.7. Letterboxd gave them a 4 out of 5, and Rotten Tomatoes,
which a 4 out of 5, I guess, will end up being what 8 out of 10.
Yeah. So, and then Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 84. So, in all honesty, I feel like it's real close to our scores that we gave.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I wonder if that's the same thing that they had too. Like, was everything else like, whoa, this is great, but just some of the story was a little convoluted and.
Yeah,
you know,
we got the Google users score, which is a 91%, but you only have two options.
Mm-hmm.
You only have a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't really get in there and rate certain things. So since I'm sitting here, like, I will give it a thumbs up. You know,
nice.
However, I'm not saying it's a 91.
Oh, I understand.
Or possibly a 92 because now I done gave it a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, 7.7, 8 out of 10, and 84%. Yeah, I'm down with all that.
Mm-hmm.
So which one? Who is who? So you IMDb, I'm Rotten Tomatoes.
It's on Letterboxd?
No, because you gave it a higher score than I did, right?
Yeah, 8.8.
Yeah. Your score is not represented. You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, man.
Hey, anyway, y'all got anything else on this movie before we wrap up the show?
Mm-mm.
That's about it.
That's about it?
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready to watch it again, let me know. Because, like I said, I almost fell asleep a couple times. So.
Now, you know, what if you would have went to sleep and then you realized you were actually in the anime?
That'd be dope.
Gosh, that'd be crazy.
And then it would have been an Inception.
I want to compare this to the lengthy dialogue sections of Star Trek when they get real technical and start explaining stuff that's happening. But that doesn't last for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it might be like a 5 or 10 minute real technical geeky part of Star Trek, and then you go back into, you know, character interaction. So for this one, so just anybody out there, for your Trekkies out there, if you like that dialogue, which I do, this will be a great movie for you. But just be ready. Just be ready to listen and keep listening because they're gonna keep talking.
You know what? No, honestly, I want your opinion on the newer, what is it? J.J. Abrams Star Trek. I want your opinions on those.
Okay, I think I saw the first one. I might have, yeah. I know. I've seen the first one.
J.J. Abrams doing Star Trek?
Yeah, he had did it. Like he did both of them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I may have been a third one, but
yeah, I thought that was 3. But I wanted to say that I saw the first 2, but I definitely saw the first one.
Yeah, if we get a chance, man, we gotta talk about that because I honestly want to know what you think about it.
One thing I will say about these 2 movies, Perfect Blue and Paprika, is I appreciate that they're only an hour and a half.
And that, I mean, and to be honest, that's kind of long for anime movies.
Yeah.
Most of them don't get, so the ones that come out in theaters, they get the hour and a half. But a lot of the anime movies, especially when we were growing up, 45 minutes.
Okay.
55 minutes. Like they hardly hit an hour.
Dragon Ball Z movies, it's like, oh, cool, 45 minutes.
Yep.
Huh.
I like that.
Not even an hour.
So you might like the Dragon Ball Z movies better because it's just like a Dragon Ball Z saga except sped up.
Well, I like Super. Remember, I like that first movie that came out.
Yeah, that was more the exception, not the rule.
Oh, I love that movie.
Like the Broly movie, the old one that we saw in the theater. You didn't like that one. Anyway, let me get to this wrap up screen. All right, so we're trying to do a different type of outro today. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know. I usually say something right here, but I don't know.
You don't even know what to do with yourself.
I don't even know what to do. I mean, just recap the show. Hey, we talked about Goblin Slayer. We're talking about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z because it's 1991 around here. And we had a good conversation about what's too much in the anime. So go ahead and wrap it up.
All right, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening to ANX Gamecast. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we release new episodes. See you next week.
Do it live.